Tonight on Thursday Night Football AfterBuzz, are the Bengals back to what we expected, or are the Dolphins just what we expected? Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Time to recap Thursday Night Football live on AfterBuzzTV.com, the AfterBuzz TV YouTube page. You're liking, subscribing, telling your friends about the wonderful world of AfterBuzz as we break down the Bengals defeating the Miami Dolphins. Welcome to AfterBuzz, everybody. I am Josh Terra. Full panel's back. I am back. Let's say hello to everybody else. The lovely lady to my left is Miss JJ Jurgens.
Well, aloha. Welcome back.
Oh, thank you.
Hey, guys, I'm JJ Jurgens.
Mahalo. Yes. Over on the other side is Jill Munroe.
Hey there. Welcome back. Thursday night action.
That's right. And, of course, Mr. Michael Rippe.
Thank you. I'm a Miami fan, so it wasn't the greatest night.
Yeah,
but you can tell me about it on social media at Mike Rips. It's right here, and spell it out for you in case you're listening. MikeRips.
Yeah, Mike, you came to the studio today, didn't have a big old smile on your face like normal.
It was embarrassing.
Yeah, you're a little quieter. Yeah.
I'm sad. Tonight was a sad game.
You had such high hopes at the beginning, didn't you?
I didn't.
You didn't?
No.
I'm trying to be encouraging, but...
Although you would think so if you watched the game. I mean, it started out the Dolphins, their best player of the night.
I was like, okay.
Kenny Stills, he got a 74-yard touchdown reception right out of the gate.
Yeah, so I mean, it was one of those games where we're going in, so like, okay, Bengals have not looked at what we looked like how we were thinking they were going to be. We're thinking they were going to be one of the favorites in the AFC. Miami,
one of the least favorites.
We always keep thinking it was going to be kind of like the year for a turnaround. It's like, okay, so let's see kind of what gives at this game. And like I said, early in the first quarter, we have, a Madden highlight. What was a 74-yard pass?
74 yards.
It's good you say Madden highlight because that's what the Dolphins look like. They look like a highlighter team.
They look like a
Madden.
video.
Yeah.
When I play Madden, I usually dress up the players in all one color. Since I'm a Dolphins fan, I usually do the all orange. In fact, they almost embarrassed the University of Tennessee because that's who they also look like tonight.
They did look like them a little bit.
They
That's
look like
true.
the Tennessee Volunteers, and they volunteered to stink.
I actually really liked both the uniforms tonight for the color rush. I liked that the white with the black on the side was nice,
Agreed.
and I liked the orange.
I actually thought the Bengals looked sharp because it wasn't just white; it had a little bit of the black trim that really gave it nice styling.
I thought the Dolphins kind of looked like a popsicle, but I liked it. It was attractive, but
They played like a popsicle.
yeah, it looked like somebody sucked. Yeah, there you go.
Are you enjoying this so far, Mike? Are you enjoying it?
Man, so bitter. I've been a Dolphins fan since I was a little kid.
If it makes you feel any better, I was off last week where I could have just been raving about my Patriots, and I wasn't here for it.
Yeah.
Yes, you could have.
I mean, I could quarterback that team, I think, at this point, and we'd still win.
Which
On
the Patriots?
any given
Yeah, the
Sunday,
Patriots. Not the
Monday,
Dolphins.
Thursday.
Not the Dolphins.
No one can quarterback the Dolphins to win. You can't win with them.
But yeah, so Kenny Stills with the touchdown.
I would just like to touch on that quickly. The Kenny
go right
Stills
ahead.
catch, which was very similar to Week 1 for the Dolphins and Kenny Stills. He made a highlight blooper when he had the same play and he dropped it. He was wide open for a touchdown and he dropped it. So he caught it this time, and that was the only highlight for Miami tonight.
And when the big thing with it, though, was he led Miami in receiving yards, and that was his only catch.
That's right. One catch for 74 yards. That was... I mean, the Dolphins totally had only, I think, another 86 yards passing through the air outside of that one pass. So
You're close.
it was pretty poor.
189 in total.
189 in total, yeah. It was a really poor effort from Ryan Tannehill. And I think if you're a Miami fan, which I am, it's time to wonder if he's the quarterback. Maybe that he should be benched soon.
I was going to ask you about that because they had so his deal was for $96 million for 2 years, right? And it's going to be
more than 2 years, but...
Oh God! It was only 2 years.
Yeah,
That'd be insane.
Maybe
But I mean,
2 years guaranteed.
But I mean, after 2, they had the chance that they could let him go and cut their losses after this one. Do you think they will?
I would say he's trending towards being not the quarterback because I mean, you can't show up like tonight and play that poorly. Have one highlight. That's it. They couldn't do anything. Cincinnati was dominant tonight, and it wasn't a fair match.
Sadness and despair.
I mean, it was really the AJ Green game.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, he had more.
He had 10 catches.
10 catches. I had his stats. He had more than the whole Miami Dolphins offense. Like, just crazy stats.
And he was just better. You could tell if you just watch the game and you don't even watch football, you would just say, like, that guy's better than everyone else. He was catching it over all the guys, like running past them.
That's why he's one of the most elite receivers in the NFL.
Absolutely.
With 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter, AJ had 173 receiving yards. The Dolphins had 157 total yards. So that kind of tells you a lot. That's the story.
And he's also a new daddy without getting much sleep, and he did that.
Right.
Imagine if he got sleep.
He could be in trouble later in the season.
Well, you know, besides Bengal fans who are happy with AJ Green's performance, people who picked him on DraftKings this week.
That's right.
And DraftKings, if you don't know, where have you been? It is the place for daily fantasy. I play it personally. Some weeks I win, some weeks I lose.
Oh yeah, Josh?
I do. Am I gonna have to play you in DraftKings? You can play against your friends. Yeah. We can have like little competitions if we want.
We're gonna have to get that set up at some point.
This is happening.
Okay.
It's gonna be glorious. I will reign supreme like my Patriots.
I'm definitely
do.
better than the Dolphins.
Okay.
Can I get a loan from the winner? Because I mean, since we know that that's going to happen.
Yeah. Well, if you go to DraftKings.com now, you use the promo code BUZZ, you'll play for free on your first deposit for your share of over $1 million in total prize this weekend. You have a chance of winning a lot of money for nothing. Do you hear me? Free. That's zero. That many.
How much was it?
Oh, it was zero.
Oh,
nothing.
Okay, zero.
So once again, DraftKings.com, promo code BUZZ. Eligibility restrictions may apply. See the website for details. I'll be setting my lineup this weekend, and I plan on winning some more money.
I'm going to set my lineup against yours.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Okay. We got to like tweet that out and everything.
We're going to have to set this up maybe moving forward.
So we will be recapping what happens on the fantasy front between Josh and Michael next Thursday.
Precisely.
So
I can't do any worse than the Dolphins.
make sure you look out for that. That's going to be a big thing.
So, kind of like going through this game, after the first quarter, where AJ Green had his touchdown, Kenny Stills had his touchdown, it was the Mike Nugent show.
It was. That's a good point. It was. He had 5
It was the show of the
goals.
kicker. 5 for 5 for field goals.
Well, the Bengals in general, they dominated the game and dominated the time of possession. They had the ball for most of the game, and they were just methodically driving down the field. And then when they got close to the end zone, outside of that one touchdown to AJ Green, they couldn't punch it in. But Mike Nugent was definitely a busy man tonight, earned his money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
5 field goals. So.
Yeah, and I feel like he's the kicker that not many people talk about. You always hear about Gostowski, you always hear about Hauschka, you always hear about Vinatieri, you hear about
Keep going.
Justin Tucker.
Ooh, that's 4. Any others?
I can name
This
more
is good.
kickers.
This is good. Like kicker roll call.
I can name more. There's Matt
Thursday night,
Prater. Robbie Gould was just released from the Bears. There's Sebastian Janikowski. I mean,
the most knowledgeable kicker fan ever. I love it. Can you guys name any more kickers?
Dan Bailey, Nick Folk,
look
Josh
at there.
Scobie's still there? No, I think Scobie's gone.
This is unbelievable right now.
But what I was trying to get at before I shared my wealth of kicker knowledge, fantasy genius here, is the fact that Nugent has been, over these last couple years, one of the most consistent kickers in the NFL, but not many people really seem to talk about him.
That's right. It's a very good point. And he's an important part to the Bengals team because the Bengals are a good team and they plan to play deep into January, and having a kicker that you can rely on to get it done is a big thing to help for the confidence of the entire team.
Yeah, and then on top of that, of course, was Cincinnati's defense.
Outstanding.
They only gave up that one long touchdown pass. Other than that, they were pretty much flawless. 5 sacks, I believe. 5 sacks, an interception. They played like they knew they had to win this game to stay in the race with both Pittsburgh and Baltimore.
They did need to win this game. If you're Cincinnati, you're at home, you're 1-2. This is a must-win because if you're going to consider yourself a contender, you got to be able to beat the Dolphins at home on a short week if you're going to be serious about your chances in the regular season. I mean,
and don't you think it says something for their head coach Marvin Lewis? Like, at a certain point, I feel like they're one of those consistent middle-of-the-road teams that you expect so much more for them, but they constantly underperform. I think you have to start looking at, could a coaching change be something that, especially if they had lost this game, we start looking forward to with them?
I think with Marvin Lewis especially and the Bengals it's all about the playoffs for them because they haven't won a playoff game. And that's where he's going to have to make his money because it really, I mean, you got to win the games in the regular season to get to the playoffs, but it's going to be what they do in the playoffs. I think if they don't win a playoff game, he'll definitely get fired this season because they don't win playoff games under Marvin Lewis.
5 consecutive years making the playoffs
and not winning a game.
Yeah.
So that's where, but you got to win the games in the regular season to get to the playoffs. So.
And did they have were they one of the teams with a bye last year in the playoffs?
No.
They weren't. They were the 3 seed.
Yep.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, because I know the last few years, towards the end of the year, you would hear to talk about Marvin Lewis. I don't know. He might be on the hot seat. Where's he going to go? But they kind of managed to get to the playoffs. And I was like, okay, he's safe for another year. He's safe for another year. I don't think there are any more safe for another year.
No, they got to get it done this year. Last year they were unfortunate. Andy Dalton got hurt.
Right.
And he wasn't
and I
there
think
for the
that's
playoff
why.
game.
And that's why I think he really said, because if they were 100% healthy
and then lost
a game, he might have been fired then.
Agreed.
So.
But you got to get it done. I mean, the 1-3. If they would have lost this game, it would have been really troubling for him. And then a long weekend, and then the media would have been on him, even though it's just Cincinnati. But
and their schedule, they play the Cowboys next, then they play your Patriots, Browns, and Redskins. So
those next 2 are tough, especially because they're away.
Yeah,
those are both away. But I think they'll be able to get at least one of them, and then their schedule gets a little easier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I mean, Cincinnati, looking forward and long term, they should be fine.
I think so. I think this was a get fine game for them. Now they get some more rest.
Now they get the extra rest.
They get a little extra rest, can prepare, and I think we'll see them in the playoffs.
Yeah, but let's talk about your Dolphins. I don't know if you want to, but so here's a team again. The last couple years, we've been really thinking they're finally going to be turning the page. We had last year, Lamar Miller had a career year. You signed him, Ndamukong Suh. This year, you lose Lamar Miller, but you get Arian Foster.
He's really
he's hurt. But he's hurt.
He didn't play.
He got hurt again.
Yeah.
Then as far as receivers, Jarvis Landry's really been improving. You brought in Kenny Stills. You're thinking, okay, this is a team that looks like we're ready to turn the corner, and we've been saying this for a few years. Like, okay, which is going to be the team in that division to try to sneak up at the Patriots? We thought it was the Jets at one point, it wasn't. We thought it was Buffalo at one point, it wasn't. It's like, all right, Miami looks like it's going to be that team, but nothing seems to be gelling.
And you have a young coach who said this week that he's going to bench people if they don't perform and kind of put a little pressure on people.
They might not have a team next week.
Yeah.
He's benching
Weren't there
people.
6 new starters out there with some of the changes?
There was a lot of changes, and I highlighted on my Twitter, which you can find at Mike Rips. Shameless plug. I highlighted before tonight's game that they made a change. They sat Byron Maxwell, their starting cornerback, for Tony Lippett, and I said I was interested to see how he was able to cover A.J. Green, and we know how that turned out. In fact,
Great job. Good job.
he missed he's a young cornerback getting his first start, but he missed the key tackle on A.J. Green that let him score that touchdown. So A.J. Green had his day with not only Tony Lippett, but the rookie cornerback Xavier Howard. So it was tough. Miami's in a rebuilding. We'll have to see. The coach is young, and I like that he is able to just sit people if they're not getting it done, but it's early, and we'll have to see. I think this year is more about seeing who they have and who they don't have, and then figuring it out moving forward. But I've been a Miami fan for a long time, and it's been bad.
Yeah, but then along with that, obviously you have the problems in the secondary. You don't have a healthy running game. Where Jeremy Hill, who did not have a great game, he had 71 rushing yards. It's not a bad game. It's not a great game. He single-handedly outrushed all of Miami. And they had 4 different running backs combined for 62 yards.
Do you want to know who the 2016 lead rusher is on Miami? I want you to guess.
Well, I don't know if I can pronounce his name, but it's probably Tannehill.
It is Tannehill.
I was going to say, I was going to say a J.
Wait.
Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you.
I'm not sure about what before tonight. 54 yards.
So, and part of that has to do. No. I know Mike's not happy. Part of that,
you're just stabbing it.
But part of that also has to do with what's going on with the offensive line. Again, you give up 5 sacks tonight. Tannehill can only throw for 189 yards, which is not good.
The offensive line was a disaster. They were missing Brandon Albert, a key component of the line. He's the starting left tackle, a Pro Bowl caliber player. So they moved over their rookie Laramie Tenzel over to tackle, but he wasn't that great. And across the line, they've had issues, which is really disappointing because if you follow football in Miami, they've spent a lot of resources and first-round picks on their offensive line, and it hasn't worked out. And so it's just issues all around. But Ryan Tannehill, besides not having a great offensive line, wasn't able to get it done through the air. And you got to also recognize that if the line's not performing and helping you out, you got to do a little bit of scrambling and know when there's people around you. Yeah. And he didn't have any pocket awareness tonight. And that's a problem.
And what are Miami's next few games? I know
Miami's next games are they play the Titans, the Steelers, and the Bills, and then they have a bye week.
And they're home for the next month.
Okay, so I mean, they should on paper
lose everyone.
They should. I was gonna say win 2 of those 3.
Absolutely not.
You don't think so? You
gotta have some faith.
What kind of fan are you?
I mean, the Steelers, the Bills, depending upon which Bills show up.
Right.
You know.
Depending on which Bill.
Tennessee's been nowhere to be seen.
Right. So
Miami
I think that
only has one win this season. Let me remind you guys, it was against the Cleveland Browns that were starting a rookie quarterback in overtime after their kicker missed 3 field goals.
I think you're gonna get the Bills.
So I'm just telling you.
I'm gonna give you that one.
If you think that Miami is good, please give me a reason why.
I'm gonna give you guys the Titans.
You're gonna, okay?
Yeah, but
thank you.
This is adorable.
Sad.
So,
do we have anything else to talk about?
I was gonna say. Well, I was gonna say, as far as this game, I mean, that's really because there wasn't a lot. There was AJ Green's dominance, the one big play by Stills, and Mike Nugent. Yep. That was this game.
We can talk about the horrible roughing the kicker, which was the dumbest thing.
Terrence Feed for the Dolphins. One of the more moronic penalties I've seen. I mean, literally wasted a good point where they could have got some momentum, and I've never seen something where it was just so obvious and stupid.
Yeah, and it was so late too. It was
late. Like, it wasn't even close to after he released the punt. It was like 5 seconds later, then he just like throws the kicker. I don't know what he's doing.
Things happen.
He got a good chewing out on the sideline too.
That's what you do in Miami.
Well, I know you guys had some NFL news to bring up because we had a few injuries and things like that.
News and gossip.
What we got?
You go ahead and start, and I'll throw some in.
First up, we want to start with Browns wide receiver Josh Gordon. You know that he has been through various things away from the game as far as his substance abuse problems. So he has decided for the remainder of the season he will be in inpatient rehab facility. And we wish him the best, obviously, and hope that he can get that under control because he is one of the Browns' major weapons. And obviously his talent is missed. He and the Browns both tweeted out messages. His was under some pressure and stress recently. Had to take time out for myself. Sometimes you have to do what's best for you. Thank you, NFL and Browns. So. And
he's currently serving a 4-game suspension. He was supposed to return to Cleveland after this week.
Yeah.
I don't think he returns to Cleveland ever.
No,
that's what they're saying.
I completely agree. I mean, this was a situation. Obviously, at the end of the day, we want him to do what's best for him, and if he feels he needs us to get better, then by all means, do it. At the same time, they kind of drafted around this. They planned their season like, okay, we're getting our key weapon back in week 5. And then at the last minute, literally he's like, I'm not going to come back.
And he's been given many chances with Cleveland. So I think that his time with the Browns organization, maybe the NFL, but certainly Browns organization has to be up.
I agree.
But obviously, I mean, health is more important than football.
Absolutely.
So, hopefully he gets himself right.
Yeah.
And kind of on the injury front, Dez Bryant, we know he hurt himself on Sunday. It is a knee fracture. He's probably going to miss about 3 weeks, but the rumor was that Dez went missing because he was scared to take the MRI because he thought the results were going to be really, really bad, and he didn't want to go through the rehab experience like last year. So there's still a little immaturity problem going on in Dallas.
What do you mean? No, it's the perfect medicine. If you don't know what's wrong with you, it will get better faster.
Is that like a Jedi mind trick or something?
Well, that's apparently what Dez Bryant is thinking. I don't know
something like that.
Like, I would, if an MRI machine was offered on the field, I would like, okay, tell me now so we can start preparing.
Now I'm the opposite. I've had 2 knee surgeries, ACL and meniscus, and no, I would kind of be doing the same thing. I think at this point, I would, if I could. Yeah, I'm not gonna want to go in there. I mean, I totally would not blow off my team and not show up.
That's
but
the
I
thing.
would not. I really would not want to. I wouldn't want it out on the field. I wouldn't be anxious to get those results.
Well, I'm not saying
no.
I'm excited to get it done.
I know you just want to move on to the next.
But but it's a thing of, if it's an individual sport, yeah, I can understand you being nervous because you're trying to think what's going on. Your team is relying on you. They need to plan. They need to think of, okay, can we use you as a decoy? Are we not going to have you at all? Are we only going to miss you for a week? Are we missing you for a month? They have to plan. You're part of a team. You have to strategize with that team, whether you're healthy or not. And the fact that he did this shocks me.
I'm not condoning his behavior. I'm just saying I wouldn't. Yeah.
The killer thing is that he also got into a mini tweet battle with Skip Bayless this afternoon because he said Skip could have just picked up the phone and called him himself and asked him. So there you go.
Well, if they have conversation on Twitter, then he could have just tweeted them.
Yeah, that too. But Des was a little angry, I guess, that Skip, called him out for missing the meeting and disappearing on his team. So that's my.
All right,
What do you got, JJ?
So we got announced today that Lady Gaga will be our Super Bowl halftime entertainment. What do you guys think about that one?
I think it will be cool. I mean, I'm not obviously up to date with all like the top pop music stuff, but I don't feel like she's really been in the main spotlight for a little while. But she obviously is an incredible entertainer and puts on very unique shows. So I'm curious because, the Super Bowl, the NFL, they're always very, very
a little concerned.
Concerned.
Is it CBS, NBC, or Fox this year? Because that kind of has something to do with it too. I feel like depending upon which network it is.
To me, if I hear Lady Gaga's performance, I'm thinking it's on Fox.
It's not CBS.
I think it's NBC this year.
Is it NBC?
I think it's NBC. I think so. You're not feeling it.
No, I am.
Okay.
I love Lady
You're
Gaga.
a little monster.
She's got, I'm in the crew or whatever.
She's in a more you're a monster.
I am a monster. Yeah,
I like Lady Gaga. I really liked her on American Horror Story last season.
I've been playing her new song "Perfect Illusion" all the time. You should check it out.
I watch her a lot on Snapchat. So
My mom and I went to her concert in Vegas. It was amazing. It was like you said, putting on a show. It was amazing. The choreography and all the set design, and so I'm excited for it.
Yeah,
Plus, coming after Beyonce, that's kind of a hard thing to do. So you need someone that is a solid performer.
But that's the key thing. It was Coldplay with Beyonce, but everyone remembers Beyonce.
Yeah, I forgot about Coldplay being there. And I like Coldplay. That's like not a diss, but I just
There was even
Beyonce.
Rumors already online that maybe Beyonce would make another appearance because she does have a song with Lady Gaga
Just
as well.
put Beyonce on every year, because then everyone's just going to talk about Beyonce.
Beyonce.
Yeah.
Actually, my favorite Super Bowl is between Michael Jackson and Prince, but that's neither here nor there.
Can we get Left Shark back?
Left Shark was everything. I liked Left Shark.
Yeah. I loved Michael Jackson's, I loved Prince's, I loved U2's.
U2 was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're solid. So, I'm curious to see what she'll pull out.
We'll see.
Did
you have anything else, JJ?
I have two more. Just
right.
a little quick note. Because Sue is from Nebraska. Go Big Red. I have to do it every time. Just want to point out, if you guys are Ballers fans on HBO, he was on this series in season 2. So go ahead and binge watch that and check him out on there.
And then watch the after show on AfterBuzz because I was one of the hosts. So season finale just happened last weekend.
There you go. Get your picks.
What was Sue better on, Ballers or the Dolphins so far this season?
Yeah, Ballers.
Okay.
He actually had the best restaurant name I probably heard in a long time on Ballers, though. His restaurant was called Su Casa, which I thought was pretty brilliant,
that's cute, right?
I wanted to eat there. It looked amazing.
Mike, it's so funny. I like how he's just like, can we stop talking about the Dolphins tonight?
I wish the
His
Dolphins.
hands have been like this the whole night. He's just like. So.
I wish the Dolphins played every Thursday.
No.
You wouldn't see me on the panel.
Last little tidbit I got to shout out to for the other JJ out there. The JJ Watt had back surgery today. He put a big Instagram post out, which was pretty neat, I thought. And he said, he hasn't missed a game since his sophomore year of high school, but it's necessary in order for him to return to 100% and play at the level that he's capable of playing at. And his little comment underneath that was, adversity sucks. Your attitude towards it doesn't have to.
Go, JJ.
So good little attitude.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
All right, let's look at some of the games heading this weekend. or some fantasy players to watch. Mike, have you prepared a few guys to look for? Or were you just kind of crying?
He's been
during the
warning
game?
ever since.
I like to make those adjustments on Saturday.
Well, that's
Saturdays
fine.
when you think about that.
I mean,
The best game this weekend, can we just say, is actually a college football game on Saturday, Louisville versus Clemson.
Isn't that tomorrow?
Is it tomorrow or Saturday?
I think that's on Friday.
I don't know. I have to
don't
look.
know for
I
sure.
pay attention to
It's
NFL.
Michigan and Wisconsin's on Saturday, though.
Okay.
But yeah, that's a great one.
The future.
Really, what would be considered kind of the big game this week in the NFL?
Well, I think we should just touch on that. There's a game in London this weekend.
Yeah,
there is a game in London.
That starts this off on
The
Sunday.
Colts and Jaguars, and that's actually my upset pick this week. I think the Jaguars are finally going to win a game, and I think they're going to beat Indy in London.
Due to jet lag.
I don't know why. I mean, but I'm gonna. That's my upset pick this week.
Something to look for, though, in that game is that if the Jaguars don't win, there is a chance that Gus Bradley, their coach, could be on the hot seat. Maybe could get fired. There's been the past 2 seasons, the team that's gone to London and lost has fired their coach on the way back. Last year it happened with Miami.
That's true.
And
That's
2
gotta
years ago,
suck.
I can't remember who it happened to, but there's a curse for the losing coach in London. So we'll have to see because the Jaguars have underperformed all season.
And when Chuck Pagano is considered kind of a hot seat coach too in Indy.
People thought he was getting fired last offseason. So.
Right. So this curse might continue.
We got 2
Either
shots.
way.
We got 2 shots in this one.
Big game, big matchup this week to me is the Sunday night game. The Steelers hosting the Chiefs, both 2-1. Le'Veon Bell makes his return from suspension. I personally don't think they're going to use him too much. I think it's going to be more of a decoy. And Antonio Brown really didn't do a whole lot last week. Expect him to get revenge this week. Also, I really like Kirk Cousins this week. They had that comeback win, finally got the first one of the season, got some motivation going with them. They're now at home against Cleveland, who they lost to Miami, so you know they're not that good. So Kirk Cousins, I think, is going to have a big game this week as well. I do think the Jets' offense will bounce back a little bit. They are playing Seattle. I don't expect the Jets to win that game, but I expect them to put up a few more points than expected. So keep your eye on like Eric Decker for that one.
You should keep your eye on him because I think he's hurt.
Yeah.
I meant
Quincy Enunwa.
That's the name.
What
I'm
about
sorry.
Dallas? Who does Dallas play?
Dallas plays. Who does Dallas?
Because
play?
I think
they're
that-
at San Francisco.
So I think taking the information that Jill has given us about Des Bryant, I think that someone to look for would be Ezekiel Elliott, the running back, because if Des Bryant is out, they already have no Romo. They're going with Dak Prescott. He's a young guy. They're going to want to hand the ball off extra to Ezekiel Elliott, who had a great game last week. And San Francisco, not the greatest team, so I would think that Ezekiel Elliott at running back would have a really good week.
And you would also expect more targets to Cole Beasley and Terrence Williams.
Absolutely, and maybe even Jason Witten at the tight end position.
Wow, that would be interesting. Bring
So,
that back.
so definitely people to look for in that game. And then also looking to our game next Thursday night. We at that point we're going to have the 49ers, who we just talked about, hosting the Cardinals in an NFC West showdown. Obviously, we can talk about it now. We have who knows what's going to happen to either of these teams this Sunday, but they're going to be going on that short rest, playing Thursday night. Cardinals have definitely underperformed up to this point.
Wow.
Niners have been about what we thought they would be up to this point.
Will we see a quarterback change, or do we think that the Kaepernick controversy keeps him firmly planted on the bench?
I think Kaepernick's on the bench unless Sean Hill gets hurt.
Their quarterback is Blaine Gabbert.
Oh, wait, what did I just say?
Sean Hill. He
I'm
used
so
to be.
out of it.
That's okay. You were in Hawaii.
I was. I'm still jet lagged.
I'm jealous of you.
Blaine Gabbert.
I think that we will see Kaepernick. Not yet. I think that Chip Kelly's actually come out and said that Colin Kaepernick is still a little bit hurt. He's not fully healthy. I don't know if that's a decoy, just using that as an
If he's not
excuse.
fully healthy, then why is he suiting up?
That's not for me to answer.
Thank you.
But I do think that we will see. I think I've said that. I don't know if it was on Monday Night Football here. We'll definitely see Colin Kaepernick this season. It's still too early. Is that game in San Francisco or Arizona?
San Francisco.
Yeah, all right. I want to know what the jerseys are. I think the most exciting part of Thursday Night Football at this point is the uniforms.
Well, both of them are red.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. Like, which of them is going to be in all red? I think I feel like I've seen the Niners in all black, but I wonder if they're going to be in all red. I don't know. One of the teams can be all red, right? Or maybe they're going to be all gold.
One of them be in all white. I have the color rush uniform, so let's see.
I'm a big fan of that. That's the highlight of the game. So far,
seeing which uniforms they're rocking.
I don't know if that's a good thing.
Yeah. I mean, you got to live for the little things. You got to have some sort of excitement. So.
Well, I think San Francisco is going to lose this weekend in Dallas. They're going to come into the game with a loss, and I think that Arizona is going to come in with a victory over LA this weekend. So I think Arizona is going to get right. I'm already going to take Arizona next week over San Francisco, even without knowing the results of this weekend.
Yeah, I'm thinking Arizona as well.
That was Arizona too.
Yeah, I'm thinking they'll score probably around 30 points. I think David Johnson, Carlos Hyde will have a good game, but I think David Johnson's going to run all over them. And I'll say, if I'm going to pick a random score, I'll go 30-13, Arizona.
Oh wow! So you expect the Niners not to have any?
Well, I expect them to get 13.
I mean, I'm sorry. You expect their defense not to be effective.
That's better than Miami did tonight.
Highly ineffective.
It was right there.
And thank you to the fantasy stat guru for sending me a photo of the dolphin being eaten like sushi on Twitter.
Wow.
That's not
nice. That's real life.
Jeez, that kind of. But that's a good analogy for this game. That's kind of what happened. Picked apart. Yes. Ran through. Yeah.
So, anyone else have any picks or anything heading to this weekend or next week's game? Nothing?
I think so.
All right. Well, in that case, then we're going to wrap things up.
All righty.
So you guys can continue the chat with us on the YouTube page and, of course, on various forms of social media. Mike, how can people reach out to you?
You can find me on social media at Mike Rips, MikeRips. Just not about dolphin stuff.
You can find me, Jill Munroe, everywhere at Stiletto Jill, Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter. Hit me up. Let's talk.
What about your blog?
Oh, and hit me up on JocksandStilettoJill.com for all your sports and pop culture gossip. Mike always has me with that. You can read more about these stories and see the pictures of the Color Rush uniforms too.
Page clicks.
Awesome. You guys can follow me at JJ Jurgens on Twitter and also at my blog, tomgirl.tv.
And you can follow my alter ego at Real Rosenberg on Twitter. I still have to make a Josh Tariff Twitter.
Who is that? Is that a person?
He's a wrestling guy. You can see him. You can see him host SmackDown AfterBuzz on Tuesday nights here.
Right. Yes.
And for all your other AfterBuzz TV news and gossip, follow him on Twitter at AfterBuzz TV. Thanks so much for tuning in this week. For Michael Rippe, Jill Munroe, and JJ Jurgens, I am Josh Tariff. We'll see you later.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.